Good morning and welcome to the Property Pilot. So in today's episode we're going to go over how to submit an offer on an investment property, or how to best submit an offer on a property. I've just dropped my son off at my in-laws. I've been up since 4:45 a.m, but I'm actually putting forward an offer on a property in a couple of hours, and I thought it'd be great to tell you exactly how I submit an offer. Now, this follows logically on from the previous videos where we've been talking about how to view a property, and the next step is obviously to put an offer forward. I'm also going to do a video after this which kind of gives you a few negotiation tips and tricks on how to actually put forward your figure in terms of the offer. But this is how we present the offers here today. First of all, step number one, here's the 5 tips. Step number one, we want to phone the agent first before we put anything in writing. And the reason why we do this is to kind of give them a bit of a heads up. But also, we want to find out if there's any new information since we last spoke with that agent, or say last viewed that property yesterday or the day before. Because what could have happened is, this is what I like to ask when I give the agent a quick call. I say, just to give you a heads up, I'll be putting an offer forward on the property, in a couple of hours. I'll send it to your email address. If you don't have their email address, clarify that. But here's a great chance to ask a couple of questions. I always ask, well, have you had any offers so far? How are you doing with the property? And if they have had offers, well, and if you can kind of tease out what offers they've had, then that could be a good indication of how you need to adjust your offer. So for example, if they've had very good offers and you're coming in at a lowball offer, well, consider actually increasing your offer close to or at the maximum you're willing to pay for that property. Conversely, if they've had no interest in the property, they've had no offers, well, actually, is your offer too high? Consider stepping it down. So that's why we give the agent a quick call to see if anything's changed, and to give ourselves the best possible chance of this initial offer being viewed in a positive frame. The second step is to submit an email, a formal offer. So we'll send this to the agent, and within this email, step number 2, we're going to include a couple of things. So step number 2, we're going to include the figure itself. So I'm making a figure off the air, £200,000, right? So we've got the figure, and then we've got a brief justification of this figure. And don't make this an A4, text-heavy, full-page description of your justification. Make it short, sharp, snappy, condensed. I like to put it in a couple of bullet points. If there's more than 5 bullet points, you've done too much. Make it very, very concise. For example, it could be something like, well, I'm willing to offer £200,000, and this is because, the property needs £30,000 spending on it. Maybe the EPC score is actually currently an E, and I'm going to have to spend a further £14,000 getting it to a C or something like that. So have a brief justification on why you're putting forward that figure. That's number 2. Number 3, we want this offer to be viewed as professionally and proceedable as possible. So in order to be viewed in that manner, we need to include our solicitor's details. Assume your offer is going to be accepted. That's what you've got to assume. So put forward your solicitor's details in the email. Also put forward your mortgage broker's details if you're using a broker and getting finance on the property. So this is very simple. You just pop it in the email, or even consider CCing your solicitor and your broker into the email itself. If you're a first-time buyer, you may want to consider attaching your agreement in principle. The 4th tip, again, it's to make your offer as proceedable and encourageable as possible. If the agent's got everything they need, they're really going to think, oh, this person knows what they're doing, and they're going to push for that offer. So the 4th thing we want to include is proof of funds for any deposit, or if you're buying the property in cash, proof of funds to cover the purchase. And this can be a bank statement, so just a screenshot of your bank statement will suffice. And we also need a copy of your ID to say, who is actually buying the property. And it's good if this is a driving license, because that has your address, and providing that address matches, that's great. So just to recap, step 4, we've got the proof of funds and ID. Now lastly, this is a bit of a bonus tip, and this is what again separates you from other people putting forward offers on the property. Is I have a little last section. Again, it's a couple of bullet points. It's why me or why us if I'm buying in a group. So, I may list a couple of things. So number 1 could be speed. Well, are you able to transact on this property acquisition in a timely manner? Are you buying cash, in which case you can probably proceed very quick or quicker than the average Joe. Or in fact, you could just be buying with a mortgage as usual, but you've got an established team of conveyancers and brokers, and you can push this through within a matter of 4 to 6 weeks. So speed goes a long way, and certainty is number 2. Certainty is extremely important. So I'll give you these 2 scenarios. Imagine that you've put forward an offer, but the agent doesn't know you. You're not known to the agent until this property's come on the market, which is fine. You put forward an offer. The second scenario is, well, the agent has actually dealt with you 6 or 7 times in the past. They know you, they like you, and they trust you. Well, here's the thing. For that person who's done 6 or 7 transactions with that agent, even if they put forward a lower offer compared to the guy it's his very first interaction with that agent, I can guarantee you now that agent is going to recommend a slightly lower offer to the vendor, because there's a high degree of certainty about that actually happening and that transaction completing. And in today's world, certainty is so important. Definitely for me, for example, if I had 2 offers on a property, if I had an offer of 200,000 with someone that I was fairly certain and had confidence in, but I had an offer of 205,000, which is obviously the highest offer, from someone I didn't know, I would accept that 200 all day long, because there's a high degree of certainty. So number 2 things we've just spoken about, speed and certainty, and if you can offer those, then definitely shout about it and list that in your offer. So to recap, we've spoken about 5 tips here on how to best submit and present a property offer. First of all, just call ahead, give the agent a heads up, and this is your chance to find out any other new information on the property that has happened since the viewing, for example, any offers submitted since. Number 2, draft a nice email. In that email, include the figure itself and the justification. Number 3, include your solicitor and broker details. Number 4, include your proof of funds and your copy of your ID. And number 5, just a little brief section on why you or why us, why you best suited for your offer to be accepted. So I hope this video has actually been useful today. I really hope that you implement at least some of these tips that I've been speaking about here today. And as I said, in my next video, I'll be talking a bit about negotiation and how to actually come up with the figure itself. I'm not going to give all my secrets away, but I'm going to give you some really good tips and tricks. If you haven't already subscribed to this channel, please do so. It will really help other people see this video and get value and learn about how to best present a property offer. If you haven't already, please feel free to watch my previous videos on how to actually view a property, so you understand the full end-to-end process. Thank you very much.